So this week I had Jonathan come and see me, a new student who set me 2 challenges. The first challenge was, he said, Danny, I just need to be more consistent off the ground. 1 minute I'm striking it beautifully and the next minute I strike it really poorly and I don't know what I'm doing that's different. Can you help? But they said, Danny, the second challenge is probably more important to me. I'm hitting driver all over the place. I'm losing distance. The ball's flying way out to the right-hand side and it's costing me loads of golf balls. My handicap's going in the wrong direction, as is my scores. Can you help? So what we're gonna do in this video is I want to bring you in on the lesson with Jonathan. You're gonna get to be almost like a fly on the wall watching the lesson. But before we get into that, let me share with you what we did with his iron play first off the ground, because that was super, super simple. And we added 20 yards very, very quickly to his iron shots. So Jonathan was really, really inconsistent with his iron play because he wasn't consistently getting the low point in the right place. So the low point of the golf swing is simply this. The club comes up, it comes down, there's some form of low point, and then it comes up again. Now, when you're hitting shots off the fairway, you want to catch the ball before the club arrives at its lowest point, okay? So before that. And you want to make that fairly consistent, right? So here, look, if you look at this position here, my ball position is slightly back in my stance, more central here with this 8 iron. I strike the ball, then the ground, and the low point is where the lead arm and club completely line up after impact. Now, it's not difficult to do. You simply just create this arc. The problem with Jonathan, and I see with a lot of players, he was moving off the ball quite a lot, right? Like this. And when you move off the golf ball, if you stay there, a couple of things are going to happen. Suddenly now the arc is now, the low point is heading behind the golf ball, so you can start striking the ground behind the golf ball and hitting up on it, which is what he was doing sometimes. But occasionally what he would do, he would then move back and then strike it, but it was too inconsistent, right? So all I got him to do was a couple of things. The first thing I got him to do was I got him to imagine, in fact I actually put a club along his right ear here. Just imagine something's on his right ear and see if you can make a pivot avoiding that object there, okay? So straight away he's feeling like he's more over the golf ball. The second thing we did was get him to set a little bit more weight over onto his left foot, his lead foot here. So I got him to feel like it was more 60-40. And the reason why I did that was because obviously if you feel like you've got more weight over here, you're already going to be coming down into this position, which is great when you're playing shots off the fairway. When you're more even here, it makes it harder to get onto that front side. So setting a little bit more weight over onto this lead side, just creating more of a centered pivot here, immediately started to get him creating more consistency of ball turf contact. Now his sensation because of that was that he was a long way forward, but he really wasn't, all right? So once we'd done that, that was literally almost instant improving the quality of his ball striking. The third thing we did, we needed to now start to work on curvature, because although he was striking it much better, he was still getting a curve. The ball position was paramount to this, all right? So if you position your ball too far forward in your arc, okay, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to catch the ball too late on the arc, the ball position too far forward, and you're in what I call slice territory. Anyone who comes across the line of the golf ball like this is going to increase the likelihood that you're going to create a slice. If we take your ball position, I'm exaggerating just for camera, and move it back here, what's going to happen? You're going to catch the ball more early on in the arc, okay, which is what you want to do. The ball, if anything, wants to set off now more to the right. As long as you've got the club face in position, that was going to be the key to help creating your draw. So what I want to do now is we're going to jump into the lesson with Jonathan, showing you now we've just moved the ball back in his stance, and now all we're doing is we've already got his strike now, we're trying to work on getting rid of the curvature. We're going to start with his irons and then jump to the driver. Enjoy. Sounded lovely.
I'd hit it at least. I still haven't quite got that, have I really? I don't.
No, but look at this for a second, right? Look at your club path and face path there. Yeah? Those are almost in acceptable numbers. Do you follow?
Yeah, they're just the wrong way around.
Yeah. So what we've got to do is if we can start to tweak that. I mean, by the way, you know, a fade is okay. We want to get you hitting a draw, right? So let's keep with this, but what we're going to do, I'm going to make one little alteration, all right? So get yourself set.
In that position or?
I'm going to move you way back here for a second.
Okay.
Okay. So it's really back. The other thing I'm going to do, pause there for a second. The other thing I'm going to do is this. Relax for a moment. I want you to hold the handle in a higher position here with your
Oh,
left
okay.
hand.
Higher hand.
Higher hands?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Just keep, there you go. And make a swing there. So now I'll go into why this is important. Now all you're going to do now is this. Same pivot, yeah? And I want you to visualize a shot that's going to draw around here. So nice high hands, same principle, centered pivot. Okay, one more time. There you go. Now look at this.
That's the right way around.
Yes.
Just from higher hands?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So basically in the golf swing, okay, so you can see here what we're trying to change what? Club path, yeah? Look at your swing direction there. See how much more neutral it is as well.
How does higher hands do that then?
Okay, I'll show you.
Okay.
So just stand there for a sec, come around this side and I'll show you what I mean. So whenever so if somebody slices the golf ball, which is what you're doing, are you swinging to this way, just common sense, watch this. If I get my hands cocked up here, okay, that's a club face opener.
I see, because it causes the wrist to bow.
Yeah, or hinge. Yeah. The other thing is, watch, we'll look at it from this angle, right? If I let this wrist come down, where's the club going? It's going low.
Yeah.
And behind me.
So it's forcing you to be effectively on the inside path. Yeah.
Exactly. If I drop the hands, look at it. If I kept dropping them, which I wouldn't, where's the club going?
It's gonna
inside, isn't it?
Yes, probably hit you on the ankle.
Yeah, right. So if I do this, I have loads of hinge in my wrist. So that's what a lot of people do when they slice. Loads of hinge in the wrist. What happens? The club gets, that's a steepener. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So what you do is if you couldn't, so I left it just to see if those first few were working. We made some progress, but this kind of, the third exercise here, just getting those hands just a little bit higher, okay, is a wonderful way of helping you come more from the inside and set that ball off to the right, which is going to be hugely valuable when we start to move to driver.
So is this one of those things that you exaggerate to learn from, or do you play golf? Or would I play golf?
You play golf like it because it basically,
really?
yeah, definitely, because it's a feeling, right? So and like all these things, you know, what great players have done over the years, they've learned to feel without, they haven't put a name to it, like high hands or low hands, but they've learned, for instance, on these sensations on how to control
I see.
the club. And off you go, mate, same pivot. Imagine now you've got this beautiful draw.
Well, I had a strike. Not a draw, but a strike.
Yeah.
But I could play that.
Yeah, but look at this, we're already, but these are, I mean, this is not perfect. Look at the numbers now.
Yeah.
You've gone from an average of 124 yards in carry to 144. These numbers now are what we said are in an acceptable range, but we want to push it.
Yeah.
So everything we've talked to you about now, we need to exaggerate, yeah?
Exaggerate
So
the whole lot.
The whole lot, so it feels ridiculously uncomfortable. We want you to hear this. We want to leave this session, for us to go to driver, I want you to leave this session with an unbelievable draw.
Okay.
Yeah? Really exaggerate the high hand here.
So start off with a high hand?
Yes.
Like that?
That's it.
And that's sort of almost...
Just feel like it's really kind of, yeah, just for now, right? That's it.
Weight forward still.
Weight forward still.
And this hand.
And you've got that nice pivot there.
Like that.
That's it. That's it. So nice high hands.
I pulled it left.
No, you haven't.
Oh, really? It's a draw. So that's what a draw feels like.
Look at this. And look at your swing direction now. Swing direction with the irons naturally should be slightly this number, but this is the number we're focused on. Club path now is where? A positive number means in to out. Now you're closing the face. Low points are awesome. Now look at the carry.
I'm really surprised at that. I just can't believe that. I thought I'd pulled that horribly, and it's not what I expected.
So this is why practice comes in, because often you've mentioned how long you've sliced it. One of the reasons probably you've sliced it so long is because you've been trying to do something what you felt is correct.
Yeah.
And what we've got to do now is just re-educate ourselves in this geometry here.
So high hands first.
High hands first.
Get into position.
Close that face down a little bit there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. And more importantly, this final little piece of the jigsaw, right? When you start to settle in, visualize this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not doing that at all. I know that.
So once you're set, we've now preset impact. We've preset your draw. Your job now is to help that draw by applying some, visualization to it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right? My high hand, that's it.
I held it.
Yeah, but look, these are getting more neutral now. Look at these numbers.
I felt like I was really trying to follow that round.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did or not, but...
Well, not far off.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is whenever you're trying to develop this, so if you were on a range now, you'd be going, oh, that's good. But
I would think, oh, it's a draw.
It's a draw, right? So what we want to do is when I know somebody owns it, is when they can turn it into a hook.
Okay.
Because what I want you to do is I want you to get a big booming hook that sits way out to the right and curves left. Now I want you to be able to do this in this lesson because that proves to me that you own the feeling and then you can dial it back.
Okay.
If we're too close to this, which is lovely by the way, right? It's fine, but it's still borderline.
Yeah, very, very much. And I feel like it isn't ingrained, but,
no,
but I like the challenge of the hook.
Exactly. So when you're on the range, challenge yourself to move it this way because then what you do is you now know what extreme is. So all the things we've talked about, make them extreme, yeah? Because then you can go, I know I'll hook it. So to control that, we then just dial it back a fraction.
Okay.
Yeah? So get yourself set.
And with a hook, you don't mean like a preset cheat, in terms of increasing. You want that, do you? Oh, okay.
So every shot in golf, okay, can be preset at impact.
Yeah.
So from here, if you move the ball back in your stance, yeah, you raised your hand and you shut down that club face a fraction.
Already have.
Right, great. Right. Now, the more that path goes out there, right, you are now starting to pre-program the hook. Yeah? Add the visualization to it though. Very important, yeah? Hey presto.
It's a hook.
There you go, you just created it.
But it's a short hook.
Yeah, no it is, it is, right? But look at this here.
I know, I mean, I that's what's odd. So when you think about club path, you're not thinking about this normally as a golfer. No. You're thinking about all of it, aren't you? So
the golf swing.
We go through life trying to sort of get over that line by throwing it almost.
It's a disaster. So the golf swing is a circle. Yeah? So it has to go in a circle. It goes eventually around here, doesn't it? But most people have been told that they've got to swing in to out.
Exactly.
That's just...
and you end up with a cricket bat.
Cricket bat, all kinds of stuff. No. We just catch it in a different place on the whole circle. Yeah?
It's not really a hook though, is it, unfortunately?
No, because you started from a slice position.
Exactly.
But we've started from, a minus God knows what, to now a positive swing. I don't want swing direction this way, by the way. This is 1.3. This is exaggerated, obviously. But this is what I do want as an exaggeration.
So swing direction is the club. And this is
a club and a club
starting line of the... Okay.
Yeah. So ultimately here, this is positive.
Great.
Can we do it with driver?
No.
Come on, let's have a look.
Shall I do one more first though?
Yeah, go on then. Very, very close.
Do you know, I felt that was the best one I've done, even though it's just gone straight right.
Exactly. Because look at this. These are great numbers. An in-to-out path. Your face there was slightly open to the path. That's all.
It's interesting.
But look at this. Look, you started off with a massively swing direction minus left. Yeah, going left. These numbers are in a, and look at your carry. 146 now. And this is getting more and more consistent now. Your average is creeping up to, so we're getting there.
I might get back to where I should be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we haven't, let's try driver. So as we move to driver, Donovan's goal was still to get rid of this slice. He wanted to hit the ball much straighter, but the challenge was he would love to see this lovely draw shape. Now, He applied everything we've done in the irons, apart from one thing. See, with driver, you can't take advantage of the ball moving back to catch the ball early on in the act to eliminate slice. You have to have the ball forward. Why? Because if the ball's back in your stance, you're going to hit down on the driver too much. There's not enough loft on the driver. You're going to hit low runners on the ground. So the ball position naturally has to be inside your left heel, your lead heel here, which brings in the likelihood that every golfer is likely to fade or slice the golf ball based on their ball position. So what we then did was saying, look, we needed to make some changes to his swing. He was hitting it good with driver, but just couldn't get rid of this fade. What we then need to do was change his swing direction slightly to turn that slice into a beautiful draw. We're going to pick up the lesson now with me discussing exactly what and how we did that.
So that's normal.
Okay, that's normal, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to shift the whole swing direction over to the right there. So now look, the arc is going to set off where? More out to the right hand side. Okay.
Yeah.
Now from here, you're going to have to shuffle around the whole thing. There you go.
Like that?
I'm exaggerating here. Yeah. So we're now the low point. There you go. Makes sense?
Even more or not?
Yeah, you could. That'd be okay there. That'd be fine. That's fine there. Okay. Now, so we're hugely exaggerating this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I keep this strong.
Yep.
Visualize it.
Visualize it. I mean, this is hugely exaggerated. Keep it strong. Visualize it. I'm actually going to move that ball
Thank you.
back in set.
I'm just going to struggle.
Okay.
Right.
And really see those hands high, nice and high.
Way, it's a curl.
And look at this now. Look at the path. Look at the faster path. And now look at the swing direction. Make sense?
Yeah.
So what we do is we need to push the boundaries of extreme with driver to create the right type of dynamics.
Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah, very much so.
Now, the best players in the world, most of them are hitting fades with driver. Why? Just check your understanding.
Because it rolls less and, you know, it's more control on the fairway, I think.
Well, there is that, definitely. There's a playability factor, but the reason why they're hitting fades is geometrically here.
It's easier, I guess.
It's if you don't move and just pivot, it's the shot you should hit.
I see.
Based on a nice centered pivot here, when you come through that shot, in theory, where that ball position is, it's where ultimately you should hit driver. It should always be a fade. But for the average amateur golfer who wants more power, we have to first of all change that whole dynamic up. So shift the setup for driver so that you can have an idea of how to draw it a lot. Then all you do is find what works for you.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Isn't that what Ben Hogan used to do?
Yeah.
Isn't it in his book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at him with driver, what did he do?
He was close, wasn't he? Like,
He learned that by hitting golf balls. But we've got the advantage of all this now. All you have to do is look at ball flight.
yeah.
So now you've got the geometry, think, right, with driver, I need to get everything for me aiming slightly right at target to counter the natural geometry that's going to hit slice.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right?
So it's not like I'm doing anything wrong. That's just the way it is for all golfers because of the arc.
Just because of the arc.
Yeah.
And where you have to position, look, if we played driver off the deck, then you could play it like an iron, but we haven't got enough loft on the driver.
Yeah.
You come down like this, a 10-degree driver is now minus, isn't it? So we have to hit it on the way up, which means that we have this issue, which is why the majority of the golfing population slice.
Yeah.
Yeah? So make a swing.
Yay!
Hey, presto.
It's a tiny draw, but it's a draw.
It's a draw. And these numbers again, and we've just completely changed the numbers. Look at the club path now. Yeah, these were the other way around before. You've now got the ball setting off to the right, which is what you wanted. You'd never done that before. Your first is starting to close, so you're starting to create the draw. Your swing direction generally is now going out to the right, which is what we want to. Yeah, and obviously what we need to do is start to improve the overall pivot of the swing so that this low point is a bit more consistent. Then, once you've done all them, and the strike starts to get there, then you ramp up your speed to increase this.
Yeah, yeah.
But you don't worry about that to start with.
I'm definitely not trying to do that.
No, and I wouldn't. There's so much talk about speed. All I'm interested in to start off with is helping golfers completely change their pattern of shot so they can hit more fairways and more greens. Once they understand it and they own it, then we ramp up the speed.
Yep.
Yeah?
That's good. Hey Danny, it's the day after your lesson, just coming to the end of a round, and it's been a cold one, and just to say thank you for the lesson yesterday. I've tried to put everything in play, and obviously I'm not back to my 8 handicap, but I've scored pretty well. I've actually driven the ball further than the maximum of 180 yards yesterday. I found pretty much all fairways, which is quite remarkable, and I haven't lost a ball, which is a refreshing change. So I just want to say thank you very much, and I'll keep working at it.